ladies and gentlemen, to You Heard It Here, Season 1, Episode 4. I'm your host, Ben Eddy, and today we have a very special guest with us. You want to introduce yourself?
Cody Noble with Noble Family Farms.
So, throughout our ag chapter, we kind of decided to come up with some questions, and we wrote them down for you. So, could you share a little bit about the backstory behind Noble Family Farms and like what you guys are about?
You bet. Our farm was started by my grandparents in 1963, and they just outside of Ardmore was the original place that we're still operate on today, and started out as a mainly small cow-calf operation, and then throughout the years transitioned into a stocker operation, back to a cow-calf operation, and then now we are starting to raise our own beef to sell.
Heck yeah. So you guys have kind of jumped around a little bit.
We've done a little bit of everything over the years. That's agriculture.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have more than one location around here, don't you?
We do. We also operate another family farm north of town,
Okay.
and then some lease ground in Carter and Love County also.
Okay. Awesome.
So we're spread out throughout the county.
Awesome. So what's y'all's mission when it comes to raising beef? I understand that you guys emphasize responsibility throughout your cattle and your herdsmanship. So what you guys do to really raise y'all's cattle to a higher standard?
So we've always raised beef for our family and for our employees. I mean, ever since we've been running the ranch. And then it really started after COVID hit. People started calling and asking if we've got extra beef to sell, and we'd never really sold to the public. But we started selling halves and wholes then, and then transitioned to a lot of people don't have enough freezer space for that much. They want to start buying cuts. And one of the things that we've always stuck to is everything that we butcher was born and raised on our place. So we know what was in that animal from birth all the way to the processor. Mm-hmm. And so it gives a peace of mind. And I think really in today's society, a lot of people want to know exactly where their products are coming from. Mm-hmm. And so I think that really resonates with our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so many people anymore. There's such a high demand for beef. So you guys selling it locally, that really helps out a lot of people. Y'all's website mentions that y'all's cattle are born and raised on your farm, like you said. And it says that you guys rotate them constantly. That's kind of touching to that regenerative agriculture, isn't it? Right. So what's kind of y'all's process on that?
We do two different processes. So all of our cattle, whether they're in the finished for beef or just our regular cattle that we raise every year, we intentionally rotate depending on the conditions and the growing season. And they're moved every few days, sometimes daily, just depending on the needs. But when it comes to the cattle that we finish, instead of finishing in a traditional feedlot setting, we like to leave them on pasture. And we've got a feeder that automatically spits out a little bit of feed for them every day, but while continually on fresh grass. And so gives the animals more exercise, a bigger variety of forage to eat, and to finish them. We feel like it gives them a unique finish going that way. And then we also have some that are strictly grass finished. So they're never fed any feed other than alfalfa hay, but they stay on pasture the whole time without feed.
Awesome. Can you guys see like a pretty big difference in that regenerative agriculture and like how that's changed y'all's pasture management stuff?
We have. We started shifting to this probably about 3 or 4 years ago when we first started. Our ground on our home place is pretty sandy ground. Mm-hmm. Traditionally, a lot of Bermuda grass. And throughout the 70s and the 80s, when fertilizer was cheap, we put a lot of fertilizer out, baled a lot of hay to turn around and feed it back to the cattle. But everybody knows costs have gone up to the roof. Fertilizer equipment is expensive.
It's ridiculous.
So we've cut back little to no fertilizer the last several years, and we've been focusing on trying to get a living plant in the ground year round. So in the summertime, we've got everything from ryegrass to Bermuda grass to native grass, clover, vetch. In the winter, we get more of our wheat and other types of clover then too. So it gives animals a variety of forage to eat. Mm-hmm. They're a lot like us. I mean, if you had to eat the same thing every day, it would get old. So we want to provide as much variety as we can. Mm-hmm.
So do you guys just run cattle, or do y'all have any other animals?
We do also run some sheep. We're partnered with Prairie Prairie Creek Ranch. They're also located in Ardmore, and we've added hair sheep to the operation last year. And so what we found with those, they go in and eat a lot of the forbs that the cattle don't really like.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a good complement to run with them. They don't run together. We run them separate, but we rotate them around.
Okay, so you guys are still rotating them just like
Mhm.
the cattle.
Yep, they'll rotate just like them.
Awesome. So what are some of the biggest challenges you guys have encountered in raising beef this way?
I think probably first was getting the word out that we were selling beef. You know, of course, family and friends knew about us, and that took off from there. Social media has been a big help. And then farmers market this summer in Ardmore was a good avenue. But a lot of people, you know, just generally that don't grow up in agriculture like to learn about the process. So that's been a good learning experience, just trying to get the word out of how it works.
Mm-hmm. So for those of the people that don't know, where can they go to purchase y'all's beef at?
NobleFamilyFarms.com, and it shows a list of all of our local pickups, deliveries. In the summertime, we're at the farmers market. We're also working with Scout Market in Ardmore.
Okay.
They're using a lot of our ground beef, and then they have some of our products to sell at their market also.
Awesome. So like, you guys are selling them as half of? Can you go buy like half of a carcass from you guys, or is it like individual cuts that y'all are buying?
We do both. We've mainly been focused on individual cuts lately. We're trying to build up our inventory so we can offer more halves and wholes to customers, and we do have quite a few regulars that buy halves from us every year. So
awesome.
Check out our website for more info.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can put that down in the description below for those of you guys watching. So this is a big operation. You can't run it by yourself. So you guys hire on hands. What are some qualities in your hands that you guys are looking for?
We've been fortunate. We've had some guys working for us for going on 40 years. We tend to look for the right person and give them a good opportunity to work, and they tend to stick with us. And the main thing that I like to see, somebody that works hard but willing to learn, because this business changes all the time.
It does.
So if you're not learning and looking for the next thing, then you're behind. And I feel like the last 10 years ago, it felt like the industry was moving like you're driving down a 2-lane highway, but now it's like you're running down the interstate at 90.
Yeah.
You better hold on.
Yeah, you better learn from everybody.
That's right.
A little bit.
Don't ever quit learning.
No, everybody's got something to teach you, that's for sure. So with all the changes in the beef industry recently, what are some demands people are looking for now in their beef?
I think the main thing is they want to know where it was raised, and there is some misconceptions on the large scale of product of the USA. That doesn't necessarily mean it was, all that means is it was processed here in the USA. It could have come from a foreign country, brought over, and then cut up here.
Yes, sir.
So I think people want to know and buy local and support local. And so that's been a big help.
Yeah.
And so just getting the name out there. We can't supply for everybody by any means, but we just want to give people more options. And there's a lot of other producers like us throughout Oklahoma and Texas that are starting to do this also. And so I would recommend just taking a look around what's out there.
Yeah, especially with everything changing in the cattle industry right now with all the imports and stuff. It's important to buy from the local people. You know where those cattle are coming from, what they've seen, what land they've been on, and everything. So
we do process with Whiskey Creek Processing over Medill, so it's just right down the road from us. Great local processor. A great business that is providing for the community.
Yeah, I know we've used them a little bit. They've done a good job on a lot of our stuff. So they've done a good job, and a lot of their cuts and everything, they come out pretty good.
They're good. The packaging's great.
Absolutely. So one of our questions that we got was, your product line includes beef, but it also mentions pecans. How do those two areas connect your farm, and what does the diversification mean in your business?
So we've had a large amount of native pecan trees on the place, been there a long time. In native pecan trees, they don't tend to put off a very good crop every year. It's hit and miss. Every 2 or 3 years, you get a good crop. This year, knock on wood, the crop looks pretty good, so we'll hopefully start harvesting after we get a good hard freeze. But these areas of trees, our cattle graze under them.
Mhm.
And so when it starts getting close to harvest season, we keep the cattle out of those areas to make it easier to harvest.
Mm-hmm.
But it just complements our business. And so when the trees do come in, it's another good product to sell.
Yeah, and you sell those locally too?
Yes, we'll sell some of those locally. Some of them go wholesale.
Yeah.
But they should be coming up probably next month. Will be on our website.
That's interesting. I didn't know you guys touching on business.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of land and ecosystem health, how does your beef raising operation contribute to preserving or improving the land for future generations?
So one of the things that we do, and we've done for years before we really started in this shift to regenerative ag, we quit traditionally farming. We started using a no-till drill to plant our cool season crops. Like I said earlier, our ground is real sandy and it's really prone to erosion. And so we want to keep the ground covered as much as possible. And we started noticing that no-till drill helped a lot of that.
Yeah.
And since we've been shifting to regenerative ag and with the fertilizer, focusing more on our grazing and intensive grazing, and planting a diverse crop, we've been able to notice our organic matter increase. And for I think it's every 1% in organic matter increase, your soil will retain another 20,000 gallons of water per acre. So it's a big help, and we've been able to measure that. The soil health increasing, so that's been a big positive to doing this.
Yeah, and so y'all are the farm part of it. You also have the research institute. So how does that kind of help you guys out?
So we've used the institute a lot, just like anybody can, any local producer or any national producer really, and they're a wonderful source for information of learning these practices. From everything from the soil to the economics of it. And they've got a wide range of classes that you can attend and learn about all the different ways to incorporate this in your operation.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things that I try to tell people, some people that are skeptical about diving into this, it's like, you don't have to take the whole operation. Just take one pasture, experiment with it, and see what you think.
Yeah. That's, I've seen a lot of people kind of switch into this regenerative ag, and the pastures are looking good, the cattle look good, and so I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. So, so for the consumers who might want to buy half or share of beef, how do you help them understand where the beef is coming from and how it's raised?
We do welcome anybody that likes to come out and look at the operation and look at our animals. That they can contact us through our website.
Okay.
And then the big thing that we do, we sit down with them, and our processor, Whiskey Creek. So if you wanted to buy a half of beef, they get to select the cutting order. If you want steaks an inch thick versus an inch and a half, you want 2 pounds of hamburger meat per package. And Whiskey Creek also helps along with that. They've got their standard cut sheet, and that you can go through every detail of what they want to explain their cutting order.
Okay. So if you could give one piece of advice to the next generation of agriculture, like the FFA chapters and stuff, and how it can make such a big impact, taking these kids that have never been around ag and bring them into the ag business to keep it running, what is some advice that you could give to those kids?
Be willing to learn and willing to give things a try and work hard. I know there's a lot of operations. It's harder and harder to find good help, but there's a lot of people, you don't have to have any experience. If you just got a willing to learn and a good work ethic, most guys will try you and teach you and let you take off from there.
Yes, sir. And showing up on time.
And be willing to learn. So I learn something new every week. So if I can learn something, anybody can.
Yeah, and it's a hard industry. I understand, especially with the financial side of everything, and it's such a mentally hard industry too on you. So it's very important to learn from others and look up to other people, and that's something that we can look up to you guys, and you guys have been around for a long time, so that's pretty important. So, well, I think that's about all of our questions we got. Is there anything else you kind of want to touch into?
No, I appreciate y'all having me on. I was just telling one of your teachers earlier that 5 years ago, I'd never listened to a podcast before. And if you'd asked me to, I would have been like, no, I don't think so. That's not me. But I do listen to a lot of podcasts now weekly. it's a good way to get information out
Mhm.
and hear people from all over the industry. And so I encourage people to listen in and learn something.
Yeah. What are some podcasts you like to listen to?
There's one called Ranching Returns podcast that's pretty good. And then I'm drawing a blank on the other one. I'd have to look, but I'll give you some notes afterwards.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think with that being said, we learned a lot of information today about the Noble Family Farms. That was really cool. It was, they've been around for so long that they're people you can trust. You guys, obviously, you've kind of been through it all, seen it all, and you learn constantly. So that's something we can trust you guys to buy from. So if you guys, like I said, if you want to buy anything from Noble Family Farms, we'll put the link in the description. I think that's about all for today. So again, I'm your host, Ben Eddy, and that's a wrap on this one.
You can go to our